All right, so this is a video that was suggested by someone in the comments a couple of videos ago, but it's also one of the main things that I have worked on with students in the past. And I wanted to share a few tips that have helped me with this because as someone who both writes and sings my own music and plays with other people, one of the things that I've been doing for the past decade at least is playing guitar while singing. And you know, these tips and techniques here will apply for harmony singing or for lead singing, but I want to talk about the very beginning, like before you're trying to get to marrying the playing and the singing together. And this is one of those things where you have to be honest with yourself. You need to ask yourself, how well are you able to do each of those things separately? And I'm going to use an example today of a Daniel Lanois tune that I'm trying to get down. So I know that I can sing the part. Where will I be? When that old trumpet sounds. So I'm able to sing it, a little bit of pitchiness. I can feel where I need to work on my breath, right? So those are a few things to think about when it comes to the singing part. It's not just do you know where the notes are and are you able to memorize the words? It's, do you have your breath control, where you're taking a breath, where you're letting go, how slowly you're letting go, and your pitch. Are those things locked down, to the point where you can kind of do it without thinking, right? Now for me, these are close enough that for me at this point, I feel like I'll be able to work on the playing and the singing part at the same time, but it's something, especially in the early stages, to consider, right? So you want to work on the vocal part, make sure that it's something you can sing. And at this point, we're just concerned with singing at speed, right? I'll get into speed here in a sec. And then the second thing is, can you play the part? Can you play the part without, I get a lot of tension right here, but can you play the part without tension? Can you play the part while still breathing? This is something that I tell all my students, and especially my young students. They kind of laugh at me, like, how could you forget to breathe? Until they start trying to play something that's taxing for them. And then they don't even notice it because they're focusing so hard, but they're not breathing, right? It's akin to lifting weights, right? Sometimes when we're focusing, right, we're forgetting to inhale and exhale. Now, thankfully, when we're singing, we have to do that. But when you're practicing the part alone, you want to make sure that you've got this down, again, to a point where it's almost subconscious, right? Where you could be playing it and someone could walk in and you could wave at them or whatever, or say something. So I'll show you the part that I'm learning right here. So nothing too crazy, but there's some rhythm going on there, right? There's a lot of string skipping and stuff. So I want to have that down where I'm breathing. I don't have to think about it. It's really easy. If you can do it without looking, even better, right? But this is where you need to start. Feeling very confident at speed with the guitar part, feeling very confident at speed with the vocal part. Now, when it comes to putting both of them together, and this next tip is actually something that's going to apply even to just honestly learning music on its own or vocals on its own. It's a very boring tip. It's a very simple tip. And for this reason, lots of people ignore it because they're looking for the secret sauce that's going to allow them to instantly be able to do something. But the only thing that gives a musician the appearance of instantly being able to do something is all of the invisible work that they've done in the years prior. And I learned this the hard way as someone who's very into art and music and all these different types of esoteric, hard to quantify things. I still have to and have had to rid myself of a lot of magical thinking. Magical thinking like some people are just born with it. Magical thinking like some of these things just happen. All we're ever seeing is the tip of that iceberg. We're not seeing the years of talent, the years of time that went into that talent. And I'm not discounting, right, that people who come from musical families might start at an advantage, that people who start young might come at an advantage. It's not to discount that, but it's to say that all of that stuff without them working on it is still not going to lead very far. So, where was I? So this boring, simple tip, right? Again, this is similar to when you are paying a professional a high amount of money for something that maybe doesn't take too much time, right? It's like you're not paying them for the time it takes for them to fix that thing. You're paying them for all the time that they've put in to get to the point where they can fix that thing, and you won't need to come back for a while for repairs, and they'll be able to do a quick, solid job, right? It's the same thing with this. So hopefully you've heard this tip before, but if you hadn't, let me be the first to introduce it to you. You need to slow down what you are working on to a speed where you can feel comfortable thinking and doing at the same time. There's usually a mismatch between these two things. And the ironic and strange part about practicing is you're actually putting yourself in the opposite mind state of where you want to end up. When you're playing, performing, improvising, messing around, you don't want to be thinking at the same time. You want to just feel like it's releasing, right? But here's the annoying part. To get to that point, you need to be able to move further away from it first. You have your desired speed and your desired outcome, which is effortless. You need to go lower than your desired speed, and you need to think and play at the same time and listen to yourself at the same time. Now, this is going to be a different speed for anyone. And I think as Americans especially, we're very metric mindset, and we're all about speed and efficiency and all this stuff, right? But there is nothing wrong with a slow tempo. Because here's the thing, if you can't make it sound good at an incredibly slow tempo, you will not make it sound good ever at a faster tempo. And this is incredible. Hi, sorry, I'm going to splice these two videos here together. We got a flash flood warning out here, so it interrupted the video. But what I was saying is, as Americans, we're very go, very fast, efficiency, speed, but you're never going to get it at speed if you can't get it at a slower speed. And this is hard for people like me. I am very impatient. I have ADHD. I just want to move on. If I can't get something, then I want to just move to something that I can get immediately. So it's hard on my ego, and it's hard on the way my brain works. So I have to put some extra intention and care into doing this process, right? But taking the example of this Daniel Lanois song, Where Will I Be? There's also a great version. He wrote it, I think for his solo album first, but Emmylou Harris has an incredible version that she played. But I'm going to and I can already kind of do both of these at the same time, but I've only been working on it for 20 minutes or so, so I want to use it as the example. So I know the left hand. I know the instrumental part in the back of my brain, like the back of my hand, right? So what I want to see is if I can take that to a slower speed and sing. And what you're listening for is you want to listen for the very first spot where something fails. This is the most important part of this process. The very first spot where you lose your track vocally, or your right hand flubs, or your left hand doesn't know what to do. When you find that spot, don't worry about anything that comes past it. Retrain your mind to think about what you're working on as though it's only that section. And then you're going to take that process and repeat it for each chunk. Sometimes you can do this for a whole afternoon and you won't feel any progress. And I know because this has happened to me for a decade. Not on one thing for a decade, but starting multiple different things for a decade. And then you wake up the next morning and that ineffable process happens in the brain. You've had good sleep, you pick it up and you discover, oh, I can go a little bit further, right? So not being patient is a big thing in the beginning, but also not getting discouraged. which is again a big part of why I stress community and working with people and finding others who are like-minded, because it's so hard in art to stay the course because everything around you devalues it, even if it says that it values it. I think my wife's doing some vocal warm-ups. One second. So this next part, let's say I'm doing that, the first line, where, I'm gonna set that as a goal for myself. Let's see if I can get that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not bad. Let me try it a couple times in a row. Swallowing my own spit. Now I don't have my metronome unpacked yet. Actually, maybe it's somewhere. Wherever it is, I don't have it. But when you're doing this process, you're going to want to set your metronome, right? I use a physical one because then I don't have to be distracted by technology, by phones and stuff. But you're going to set your metronome and work on that part. And I like to loop it so that it feels more like a piece of music, right? Because again, what's so hard about this part of the process is it's very unmusical and it's the opposite of where you want to end up, right? So I'm going to work on that a couple more tries here. Now, as you're starting to feel more comfortable with it in this process of repetition, you can then move forward a little bit and see where the next spot is, where you're having trouble. Like that spot, 10 years ago, that spot would have been my trouble spot for sure, because even though my left hand is staying on one chord, and I guess moving to 2 chords there technically, there's a lot going on vocally, right? I'm not just going, where, right? It's moving around. So let me repeat that a few more times and try to go to the next part. My thumb missed it. Let's try it again. Now what I'm doing here is when I'm on the G chord, I'm thinking ahead to where the next chord is. I'm targeting it in my brain, but you also saw my thumb move. I'm also getting my thumb ready to be able to hit that part. This is, again, why it's so important to do this slow and at a speed where you can play and think at the same time, right? Because that allows you to set these habits that then become ingrained, and once they're ingrained, you up the speed at which they're ingrained, and then you get there. I swear to you, I promise to you this works, all right? But it's so hard, and it hasn't stopped being hard, for me at least. Let me try it again. Take a deep breath. 3, 4. Where? Missed it. Where? Will that? Oh no, where? Got the lyrics wrong. That part. Now let's say I've been doing this for 10 minutes, I've taken a break, had some water, I'm going to come back, try it a little will set my metronome a bit faster. that's sounding better and better and better. I'm starting to remember to breathe. I'm able to think ahead to the chord while I'm on it. All of this would be impossible if it was my first time trying it, and I was just trying to jump in and go, where, oh, where will I be? Where, when that old trumpet sound. But that's the spot that you will end up when you take this process to its final completion. So again, big things to hit. Have the instrumental part down. Have the vocal part down, right? Or at least as close as possible. You cannot, when you're working on melding the two, truly get them to be seamless if you are not already able to do it alone. Step 2. Slow it down. I like to start at a tempo of 60. That's the go-to tempo to start at. For most music, it's going to be slow enough. Oftentimes, I'll find myself going into the 50s or the 40s if something's, particularly fast or involved. But slow it down. Find a tempo at which you feel like you can think ahead, focus, and play everything at the same time, right? And then whatever that chunk is, it doesn't matter if it's the first second, well, maybe it's just that. Go ahead and annoy your neighbors. Well, right? But find that chunk, work on that chunk, take a break when you feel diminishing returns, or maybe you could set a rule for yourself, push ahead for 5 minutes, then stop. Refresh the brain, get a drink of water, come back, work on it. Whatever your practicing process is, and we can talk about practicing processes in another video. But and then it's just repeat, right? Get that section, push past it to where you feel yourself start to slip next time. You want to be, and this is why it's so uncomfortable. You want to be right on the edge of being able to do it, but where you can't still, right? You want to intentionally put yourself in the spot that makes you feel kind of bad about yourself as a musician, and you got to get comfortable there. It will become an exciting feeling because you'll be like, this is the spot I need to be. This is the spot that will get me to where I want to go, right? And then as you're able to move through it and get the whole phrase at that tempo, take a break, relax, move the muscles, breathe, come back up that tempo by 2 BPM, up it by 5 BPM. Whatever it is, right? And repeat that process. I promise you this works, but you need patience. You need to find a way to be able to remind yourself or have others that are able to remind you, right? That it's a process and you'll get there, but you have to stick with it. And you need to just slow down and breathe and you'll have this. So that's how it's always worked for me. Any musician I've talked to, it's how it's worked for them too. But I will kind of keep an eye out and an ear out, as I always do, for how, my friends work with this kind of stuff too. And maybe, when they start coming through New York, I'll even have some on the channel. But I hope this is helpful. Hit me up with any questions. And yeah, take care, y'all. There's a flash flood, so I gotta go see what's going on.